Welcome to the Observe Day podcast, the show where we celebrate the days that matter. From holidays to meaningful observances, we bring you inspiring conversations, stories, and ideas to make each day count. Whether it's raising awareness, learning something new, or simply sparking joy, this is your space to explore the calendar in a whole new way. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I'm excited to share today's observance with you. Let's dive in. Today on the Observe Day podcast in celebration of World Children's Day, we're diving into one of the most beautiful milestones in a child's life, learning to communicate. Our guest, Jessie Kensey, is a pediatric speech language pathologist, toddler mom, and founder of two powerful programs, Baby Sign Language Live and Young Talker Academy, designed to help parents confidently nurture their child's communication skills from the very start. Jessie believes that every child deserves to be heard and that the best time to start supporting their voice is long before words even begin. Through online courses and private practice, she's empowering families to turn everyday moments, mealtime, playtime, bedtime into opportunities for connection and growth. She's been described as calm, thoughtful, and full of quiet wisdom. And today we'll talk about how small shifts in the way we communicate can spark big changes in how children see themselves and the world around them. Welcome to the podcast, Jessie.
Hi, yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Uh, I'm curious, what inspired you to focus your career on helping babies and toddlers find their voice?
Yeah, so I started my speech therapy practice. I'm in California, so a little farther, but I started my own private practice when my son was born. So it was a really easy transition to work with babies and toddlers because I have a baby and toddler at home. And so I just started kind of working with that population because that's what I was living in my own life. And I got more and more interested in supporting babies and toddlers communication, and I just kind of ran with it. So it happened kind of on accident, but I'm just living this world so much in my own home life and then in my practice now, and it's been a really great fit.
Yeah. Well, uh, you one of the things you said in your work is that meaningful progress starts at home. And I'm curious, when you say progress, what are you referring to?
Yeah. So yes, I do say meaningful progress definitely starts at home. And what I mean is that I work with toddlers who are not talking, right? That's why a speech therapist might come in and start working with your toddler. And what I've realized is that as a parent, um, people can start making really meaningful progress at home during your day-to-day activities just by making really, really small tweaks to what you're already doing. So potentially, you can help get your baby and your toddler communicating better and faster on your own without potentially needing more support.
Oh, well, thanks for clarifying that. You know, the approach you use is quite different for most fields, right? When we're talking about people, they usually deal with these things when it's already there, right? And you were like,
Yes.
okay, let's start nurturing it even before they even start speaking, even before they start forming their first words. And can you share the story of that moment when you realized early intervention could prevent future struggles?
Yeah. So I really had a big aha moment. I had been working with a kiddo. He was 2.5 when I started working with him. I saw him until he was about 3 and he was exiting from services. He had done really, really amazing. I was like sitting in my car. I had just given him this little gift because he was exiting from speech. And had this moment where I was like, oh my goodness. He probably never would have needed me if his mom had known a few of these strategies ahead of time. Because
Yeah.
this mom, she was so willing to do anything to help her child, but she just didn't realize that, hey, maybe I can make a few tweaks to the things that we're already doing. And that just made me want to start supporting families. before they bring up the
Yeah.
speech. And then I even took a step further and I realized, wait a second, I actually support my own baby's communication. I use baby sign language or baby signs. And that has really made a big impact on my little ones and being able to communicate and reduce a lot of their frustration. And so I realized, like, wait, I can even take this back a step further and start supporting communication when your little one is not even one yet, not even ready to start talking.
Yeah. Wow. At first, when I was asking the question, I wasn't even sure you had an aha moment, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that one stayed really clear. I think it was the next week that I started um, posting, tips and strategies on social media. I started a course for parents, and I just kind of went all in.
Yeah. Oh. Uh, you've been doing this work for a while. What are some of the common myths your parents believe about speech and language development? When you interact with them.
Sorry, there are a few myths that I hear all of the time, and I'm trying really hard to break them. The first one is that using baby signs will make it so your baby or toddler doesn't talk, and that's not true.
Ooh.
That's not true at all. It is really, in my opinion, it's like a bridge. It's bridging from them having no words to them having words, and it's just giving them a way to communicate before they're ready to start talking. It does not, there's lots of research, it does not stop kiddos from talking. So that's my first one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Um, my second, and I have two boys at home, so this is probably a big one for me, but I think a lot of times people will just say, "Oh, he's fine. Boys talk later than girls." And that one's not
Ooh.
true either.
Oh. Okay.
Boys can be a little bit more behind girls, but they still need to fall within the milestones.
Yeah.
So like my example is at 2 years old, a boy might have 50 words and a girl might have 300 words. Both of those are fine, but if the boy doesn't
Okay.
have any words, that's still a problem. So I don't want people to not get support or services because they just think, oh, it's fine. Boys talk
Oh,
later than
he's a
girls.
late bloomer.
Yes, yes.
uh, okay. Okay. Are there more?
Yeah, I could probably keep going, but yeah, I'll share one more.
Okay.
The
Okay.
other, I don't know if this is so much as a myth or just something that I hear a lot is that a lot of the time people will tell you, or doctors, pediatricians will tell you, oh, just wait and see. Oh, just wait and see. And I think that it's really well-meaning and it's telling parents like, "Hey, you know what? Don't worry." And I get that. And also, there are small things that you can start doing right away. So you don't just kind of have to wait and like hope that they start talking on their own. There's things that you can do, before it becomes something that might need more intensive intervention.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Uh, thank you so much for sharing that. So one of the words you've been using while you were sharing the meat is you talked about I said late bloomer, but you said late talking, right? And
Yeah.
so I want us to go a step further. How can parents tell the difference between quote unquote late talking and something that needs more attention?
Yeah. So that's a good question. There's when I say a late talker, what I really mean by that is a child who is developing at what we would assume is a typical rate in every single area except talking. So that means that their motor skills are really good. That means that they seem like they understand everything that you're saying. Um, it means that the only thing that you're like, wait, this is the only thing, and it's just that they're not talking. That would be who I would consider to be like a late talker. Someone that has a few more characteristics that I would want support for would be someone that maybe doesn't seem to understand what you're saying and they're not talking yet. That to me is just a little bit more of maybe a red flag and something that I would want to talk to their pediatrician about.
Wow. Oh, okay. Um, we one of the things you've talked about is support before speech, right? And even though I feels like I understand what support before speech means, like giving support before they start speaking. Well, in actual sense, what does that look like? And if a parent was to really start helping their parents communicate early before they start speaking, what would that look like? How would that play out?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, there's a couple strategies that I like to share with the families that I coach. The first one is baby signs. So, I know this is a podcast, but you can absolutely like jump on Google if you're interested, and just look up a few simple baby signs. So there are signs for more, milk, mama, help. Those are a few of the ones that I think can be super helpful. And you can start showing them to your baby before they even turn one. So when you're doing a snack time and they want more of something, like my baby right now is obsessed with blueberries. If they want more blueberries, I'm just going to sign
uh,
while I say the word.
yeah,
I'm going to be like, oh, more blueberries. And so I'm going to
yeah,
teach him those signs because I know that he's going to be able to do signs before he's ready to start talking. So that would be my
yeah,
first tip. So definitely look up some signs. I highly recommend using them with your little one. And then the other would be that you want to be modeling language in a way that's understandable for your little one. So what that means is instead of just kind of talking to your baby or your toddler all day long, which is great, don't get me wrong, definitely talk to your little one. But what I like to do is kind of chunk it down. So instead of using these big, long, kind of run on sentences that we all like to talk in sometimes, what I like to do is use really short, simple phrases. So, like, say it's bath time. Instead of saying, like, all right, let's go take a bath and then we're going to get your pajamas on and then we're going to go to bed and then tomorrow we're going to do this. Keep it really short and sweet. So you're going to say, let's go upstairs, turn on water, turn off water, wash hand, wash hair. And using those 2-3 word phrases are a lot easier for our babies and our toddlers to pick up on, really start to understand the meaning and then start to imitate what we're saying.
yeah. Well, you know, um, how do tantrums, frustration, and language delay connect? Does it even connect in the first place?
Yeah, definitely. Um, so whether your toddler is like just maybe a little bit of a later talker or they have more language delays, they tend to, and there's studies that show that they just have more tantrums, they have more meltdowns, they have more potentially behaviors like hitting or throwing or biting or all of those things that can be kind of, stressful to a parent. Um, but it makes a lot of sense because they just can't tell you what they want yet. And so a lot of times if our toddler can't tell us what they want, they're going to try to show us, and sometimes that
Yeah.
might be in meltdowns and things like that. So there's definitely a correlation between more meltdowns and more kind of those behaviors that are trying to get your attention because they just can't talk yet and they can't tell you what they need.
Wow. Um. Wow. Wow. It makes sense. Yeah. That when they can't tell you, they will show you.
Yes,
And
that's the
sometimes,
perfect way to say it.
yeah, yeah. It's like all these are things they want to say, but they can't say it, and so it's sometimes it's just exploding.
Mhm.
uh, yeah. Well, you talked about baby sign language, and I'm glad you cleared the air about teaching baby sign language will not prevent the child from speaking. Because a lot of parents are like, oh, well, if I teach him sign language, well, he's not going to say say anything because why would he say something if he can already do sign
Mhm.
language? Thanks for clearing that up. Um, does teaching baby sign language help with emotional connection?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So, um, I like to say that connection just starts, so early. So, that connection between a parent and their baby starts, right when they're born. They cry, you feed them, or you help them fall asleep, or if they're cold, you put them in, a blanket. Like, so you're constantly learning, like, this cry means they want this, or this cry means they want that. And so baby sign just gets to take that one step further. So now it's not just them crying that's going to kind of show you what they need. Now they can actually tell you and you can respond to that. And so that's really, really meaningful for our babies because they learn, wow, I signed milk and my mom gave me milk, right? That's just building that relationship and that connection. And
Yeah.
they're learning, like, hey, I have the power to ask for something and then I get it. And that is just really great. Um, and even at a young age, those signs can cut down on those frustrations. So instead of your baby becoming upset and, crying, they can just tell you what they need. And so that can really help build that strong relationship really early.
Well, yeah, that's true. Makes so much sense. That if you can communicate, then it also leads to communication because the parents understands the kid and the kids also understands the mom and they can talk to them and yeah, but uh, more and more. Um, I'm curious. What's the one simple daily routine where parents often miss opportunities for language learning?
Yeah. The one that comes to mind first is diaper changes. They happen every single day, all the time. And they're really a great language opportunity. It seems silly because you're like, okay, I have to just change my kiddo's diaper again. But if you think about it, you can talk them through that whole process. And it can be really helpful. I might even use a song with my little one and, sing about like putting on their diaper or taking off their pants or putting on their shirt. But that whole time you can be talking to them and using those short, simple phrases. Maybe every time you're done with a diaper change, they stand up and you sign and you say, all done, and then you clap. But you can make those moments really meaningful. And it's something that you already have to be doing lots of times throughout the day.
Yeah, well, diaper change. I feel like most of the time doing diaper change is not exactly. It's something that most parents rush, right? They want to just make sure that they get out, remove the.
Yes. Yes.
uh, it's not exactly a time where they want to double down and spend some time. What about? Why didn't you mention what do you call it now? Over here they sometimes give depending on the age of the child, right? It's there's breastfeeding, but so up to a certain age, they then start moving on to these what do you call it now? I don't know if it's mixtures in bottle where they give to the kid.
Hmm.
Yeah, that time it's especially if some kids decide not to eat for some reason, and that could be a time to really communicate a lot.
Yeah.
uh,
Yes. That transition definitely can be tricky. I it's hard as as a speech therapist. Well, that's not entirely true. There are speech therapists that actually will work with feeding and that will, like, really help support that transition. That's not what I do.
yeah,
But what I would say is, if your baby or your toddler can ask for milk, right? You might have to show them, like, when they're a baby, milk means they're going to nurse, and then as they get bigger, milk might mean I'm giving you milk in a bottle or a sippy cup or something like that. But them having the language to ask for what they want and then you being able to explain it and show them, I think would definitely help that transition. I know that it can be tricky no matter how many words they know or how many times you explain it, but still giving them the ability to kind of ask for what they want can be
yeah.
helpful.
Well, wow. Thank you for that advice. Uh, What would you say? Because speech, speech, what do you call it? Late talking for most kids. A lot of parents are anxious, right? Now it's you explain some of these concepts and breaking it down. Most parents don't even know better, right? What would you say to parents who feel anxious that their child is quote unquote behind?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, yes, anyone that's a little bit worried about their child, if they feel like they might be a little bit behind. I know as a parent, you just start Googling, you're awake at night, you're wondering, okay, what can I do or who should I talk to? Um, the biggest thing I would say is talk to your pediatrician. That's always the best place to start. They can help set you in the right direction. And then if you still feel like that, maybe they missed something or, you want to take action and the pediatrician is kind of saying, no, they're fine, don't worry. There's, especially with social media, there's a lot of great speech pathologists that, share tips and strategies and things that you can do right away. I have a course that you can take as a parent that teaches you kind of what you can do. But there's with the internet and with so many things, there are lots of great options of ways that you can start taking action before potentially, they might be ready for speech therapy or your pediatrician, something like that.
Yeah, well, hmm. uh, there's one area I just realized that we have not touched. We've been looking at it from the perspective of the parents, right? And I'm curious, how can families, parents, mom, how can they actually help in keeping communication fun instead of making it feel like therapy or pressure? Because a lot of kids are under so much pressure. That's like just to talk, and they're like, oh, well, and every time they walk, they're like, talk, and it's like it's overwhelming. I don't know how the kids feel, but I'm just guessing that it's overwhelming. So much pressure.
Yeah. Absolutely. It can be. And I think as parents get more worried, they tend to kind of quiz their little one even more. So, like, say this, and they'll really, really try to get them talking. And that unfortunately can kind of do the opposite. Our children can be like, wait, that's a lot of pressure. No, I don't really want to do it. Um, so, what I would say to that is our children learn best through play. They learn best when they are happy, engaged, laughing, having fun. And that is where so much language learning happens. So don't be afraid to like really sit on the floor and play with your little one or just make everyday routines fun. Like I know I gave the example of a diaper change. When I change my little one's diaper, I sing a song. It seems silly, but that song has all this good language in it and it's fun and it's a way to, keep him distracted and it's a way for him to keep learning language just throughout his day. Maybe every time you go up or downstairs, talk about going up the stairs or down the stairs or, my husband like makes a silly noise. So there's so many ways that you can kind of incorporate play and fun and laughter throughout the day. And that's where really the best language learning is going to happen. So definitely, if this is me giving you permission, like take the pressure off. Don't quiz your little one. Just keep playing and having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard it from the experts. He said, take the pressure off. Wow. I feel for those kids. The destiny of the world rests on their shoulders. Wow, too much pressure. Wow. Okay. Um, if every parent could do one thing today to boost their child's communication, what would you tell them to start with?
That's a good question. Just talk to them. The more that you talk to your little one, the more that you read books to them, the more language they're going to hear throughout the day and the more they're going to learn.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I did prepare a lightning round of sets of quick fire questions that require quick responses. You ready?
I'm ready.
What's one funny phrase your toddler says that always makes you laugh?
Ooh, I know I'm supposed to be quick at this. Um, right now he says, got it. anytime I tell him something. So
Wow.
like, we can't go to the park right now. He'll say, got it.
Got
And
it.
I'll be like, oh, we can't have cake for breakfast. Got it. And it makes him
Ah,
laugh.
wait, who would you say he took that expression from? Is it your husband or you?
Probably my husband.
Yeah, okay. Well, the second question is, if your childhood self could talk to you right now, what would she say?
Um, she would be impressed because she had to go to speech therapy when she was younger. So she would probably think it was cool that now I'm a speech therapist.
Really? Wow, you went to speech therapy. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. That's I'm glad I asked that question. Okay,
Yeah.
what's a parenting moment you thought was chaos, but now you laugh about?
Oh, those happen all the time. All the time. We took both of our boys on a trip. We live in the United States. We went to Denmark, so it was like a 12-hour flight. The whole trip was absolute chaos with time changes and, just all the vacation things. And now we look back on it and it was just like the most fun experience.
Okay. And then the last question is, which child's voice from your work, and of course, you don't have to mention names, but from your work still echoes in your heart?
Oh, there's so many, but I would have to say the one kiddo that just really sticks with me is the one that I talked about at the beginning, that really got me doing what I'm doing. His voice and coming from saying almost no words to by the time I left, being able to say that he wanted his parents to buy him a bunk bed so he could sleep in the same room with his brother was just really, really cool to see.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Uh, it's been an absolute delight chatting with you. Where can listeners learn more about the work you do and also connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm pretty active on Instagram is really where I hang out most, and my handle on there is simply speech underscore. And then you can also find me on my website, simplyspeechtherapy.org. I have a couple of free resources. I have a baby sign handout that has some of my favorite baby signs. You could like print it, stick it on your fridge. And then I have a checklist for babies 0 to 3. So if you're kind of wondering if your little one's on the right track, then you can download that for free too.
Yeah, well, I'll put the links mentioned in the description so listeners can click and go directly to the site. Thank you so much, Jessie. It's been a
Absolutely.
lightning and a delight chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's it for today's episode of the Observe Day podcast. Thank you for spending your time with us as we explore today's observance. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with a friend who'd love to celebrate life special days too. Don't forget to join the newsletter at observeday.com/join for more observance stories, tips, and updates. Until next time, keep finding meaning in every day.